Hi, I'm going to be reviewing a video called How to Attract Women Like a Magnet by Rich Cooper.
Rich, it's a pleasure to speak with you. Just want to let you know I got promoted since our last chat. So
good. A man that's done some work.
There are higher levels to attain.
Now all the women will run after you. You're like a magnet, a chick magnet.
So the three things I want to talk about is, okay, I got the book you recommended, No More Mr. Nice Guy.
Okay.
Here's the thing. When I was reading that book, I started to realize I don't suffer from the nice guy syndrome.
Okay.
But I still have an issue with, I think I'm good at maintaining my frame, but then allowing the women to enter it is where I kind of reach an impasse.
Where are the women? What kind of women want to enter this frame? What is he talking about?
There's something about that where
are you screwing up exactly?
Well, I'm not sure. I get, past the first date, certain things I would do in my 20s, I'm just not going to do that shit anymore.
Okay.
It's part of my friendship.
Okay, so what's your question for me here, bud?
Well, how do you maintain your frame, but then make it inviting so that women actually choose to enter it?
So it's got to be something that, it's got to be attractive to her. You know what I'm saying? Like one of the things that I get from guys that are like, hey, I'm 40 whatever. I don't want to date women my age. I like hotter, younger women. How do I date hotter, younger women? And it's like, okay, well, you got to invite her into your world, right? You can't put on the Justin Bieber outfit and like the clothes that match her generation. You have to invite her into your world. You have to give her something to get excited about joining into. And that's kind of what, having her enter your frame means is you have to have something there for her to get excited about. I mean,
she would be mostly excited about a good-looking and young guy. Ideally, somebody around her age, if she's around 20, let's just say. The only way you're gonna get somebody young into your life if you're 40 yourself is if you're super good-looking. And at 40, you have to be really good-looking, like Paul Walker, kind of something like that. Otherwise, you can pretty much forget about it.
Whenever I date women, if they come over to my house and they see the decor in the room and they're like, oh, that's a nice couch. It's a Restoration Hardware, right? I'm like, yeah. They know that couch cost me close to $8,000, right? They see the car in the garage. Oh, it's $300,000 McLaren. Cool, right? So.
Yeah, that's how it would be. Cool. Yeah. Okay. That's exactly how they would respond. You would say, oh, you see my car? 300,000. Okay, cool. They don't give a fuck.
It's inviting. Right. So when
it's irrelevant.
Have to set a boundary, or if I have to put my foot down, for example, I'm like, hey, this is a non-negotiable. Just do it, sort of thing. If they're pushing back, it's easier when you've done it a few times. It's easier when you've got something that's of interest to them. It's easier, for them to enter your frame when you have a frame that's basically worth entering. If you know what I'm saying.
Well, maybe I just don't have much to offer because I do a lot of fun, exciting things and I'm pretty fit and, but I don't.
So
I do a lot of exciting things and I'm fit, meaning that he goes to the gym, I guess. Okay. If you would be attractive to these women, then you could just sit, literally do nothing, just sit like that. Don't even move your eyes, just sit and you will pull them in like a magnet. And what does it matter if you do exciting things? If they're not attracted to you, they're not going to be attracted to you because you do, I don't know what he does. It doesn't even matter.
When we talk about entering a man's frame, it's usually because, in a relationship, there's a little bit of a balance. And it's like, are you going to enter her frame or is she going to enter your frame? And when you enter her frame, it's because she's like, hey, Turtle, I want to go to the Woofstock event this weekend with my fluffy white dog with a sweater on it. And I want you to come and I want you to hold my handbag and drive me there. And we're going to walk around. We're going to sit around with my friends for 3 hours doing everything that I want. Like that's entering her frame and doing what she wants, right? It's because you don't have anything to offer beyond that. So you need to have something better than what it is that she's trying to offer you. Because women really, truthfully don't like it when a guy enters their frame. They hate, like little puppy dogs that follow them around and do and say everything that they tell them to. It's like,
Well, yeah, but that's simply because you know that you're below her, most likely in looks. which is why you feel like you should appeal to her. You should do what she does. It's not necessarily even about it. It's just a symptom of your confidence, and that's only based on how attractive you are. So when you run after a girl and you do what she wants you to do, it's really just a symptom of how attractive you are. Because if you're attractive, you know that you can do whatever you want. And she's still gonna follow you, do whatever you do, even imitate you in some ways. If she's really into you, it doesn't matter. Because you're the man and you decided. It's not even about being a man in that case, seeing as some men follow women. It's just about being attractive, essentially.
She says jump, and you're like, well, how high do you want me to jump, sort of thing. They really don't want that. So you have to give her something to want to enter your frame on. She's going to want to follow the boundaries that you set. So my question to you now is, why do you think that she's not doing that? Like, what are you missing?
I would to be honest, probably game.
Okay.
Probably work on my game, like the
How old are you again, Turtle?
31.
Okay. And I can't.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, he needs to improve his game and confidence and humor. Game, confidence, and humor.
Recall what we talked about last time for the life of me. So can you give me a little bit of frame around what it was that brought
It was getting a better job.
Getting a better job. Okay, so you got the...
And that also, but that he has already. So that box is ticked now onto the rest.
Promotion.
Yeah.
What was the pay increase worth percentage-wise?
You know what? It wasn't much at all, but it was in a role that I feel more suited to. And
did you get a pay rise or no?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And what was the percentage?
Not much. Maybe like a few $100, but
percentage-wise, like what are you saying? Like less than 2% per paycheck?
like 10%.
10%. Okay. All right. Well, 10% is not too bad. Okay.
But okay, what I think it is, it's really hard for me to say this, but it might just be, I'm convinced that it might just be pure SMV, because I don't see myself as a beta. I identify with the alpha.
Okay.
And so what I
Can
find...
we get you to switch on your camera, or is it too dark where you're at, or like what are we missing? I want to take a look at you, bud. Okay. Well, you're not a bad looking guy.
Well, you see, my thing is this. Okay, the professional women, you can date professional women.
Right.
But they're probably going to be lower S&B.
Looks wise is what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, it's interesting that they always only talk about looks when it's women. Because to these guys, this Red Pill community, gay people, looks is this forbidden word. Never mention looks when it comes to men, because it's never the problem. But when it comes to women, right away, oh, looks, SMB? Oh, you mean looks? Right away. Or when it comes to themselves, SMB? Oh, you mean confidence in your car, in your house, your money, your job? What looks? Don't mention looks. It's always like that. Oh my God, man. This is the worst community online.
That's kind of where I struggle, because there is a balancing act of, the more professional she is, the more she's going to demand. And also, in addition to that, sorry, my glasses are really jacked up. But in addition to that, I don't want to date too low on the socioeconomic spectrum, because I don't find much there. Like someone said earlier.
Yeah, you're not attracted to her.
What's that?
So what you're saying is that you're not attracted to her when she's below you like that?
Well, yeah, because I find it hard to connect with them, with someone who is not as,
This guy could somewhat improve, lose the glasses, change that hairstyle, or maybe get a hair transplant. I think that's what he needs. I'm not really sure. And I think he also looks very pale. Okay, maybe it was winter when it was filmed. Yeah, it can happen. And he also has dark eye circles, I think. When he leaned forward just now, I could see them, meaning that his diet is obviously probably also not very good. Probably not caused by the stress so much from the work. A little bit maybe. It's probably just the diet mostly. Coffee or whatever.
Intelligent.
What do you do for a living again?
I do business development.
Okay. And where do you live? Like what part of the world roughly?
Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah. Yeah, in Chicago. Long winters. Yeah.
And your take-home pay last year was how much?
Last year was under 60,000.
Yeah. So I mean, like you can't punch up too high. Like you're not going to date a lawyer. You might get yourself a paralegal. I mean, she might date you, but the paralegal is going to be looking to date.
You can also just be jobless. If you're good looking, you can be together with a lawyer, doctor, it doesn't matter. What doesn't matter where they work. I know cases where only the woman works and she's a lawyer or whatever, and the guy just sits at home playing video games all day because the guy's good looking. There's lots of cases like this. Yeah.
The lawyer, right? Like I was talking to Andrew before we went live, I think, and he's like, yeah, I date a lot of paralegals. Well, it's easy for him because he's a lawyer, right? And she's a paralegal, so she's going to look up to him.
No, sure. Super slightly, there's something to it, but essentially nothing, because if you're a bad looking lawyer, it's not as if the paralegals are going to be into you and going to date you. You have to be good looking in some way, whatever, even average. There has to be something appealing about you. It just doesn't matter.
It's like a security guard knows that he's not a cop. Like a police officer knows that he's better than a security guard. Security guard knows that he's further down the socioeconomic scale. You're going to have a hard time dating, professional women making under $60,000 a year, because professional women, like we're talking about in this cast earlier, like lawyers, doctors, medical professionals, accountants, like in that sphere of things, they're making over six figures. And because women are hypergamous, they don't want to date down with men. They want to date up. They want to be with a guy that they can look up to, that they see as a giant. So they're looking for...
Yeah, but actually, literally, a tall guy. That's what they would want. He doesn't even get it. It's as if he says it.
For, Kevin, the VP of sales, or Steve, the VP of accounting, right? Or the CFO of the new tech startup.
Yeah, because that's what women will say. My boyfriend, yeah, he works at blah, blah, blah. Sure, they may say that, but really what they would love is to show the photo, video of their boyfriend if he was attractive. Where he works wouldn't matter to any of her friends if he would be attractive. That's really what she wants to show off.
Startup sort of thing. Like that's what they're looking for. That's what their expectations are anyway, right? And on top of that, you got to be 6 feet tall and six-pack abs and 6 months out of a relationship and a 600 horsepower car and da-da-da-da-da. They have...
Oh, okay. He at least 6 feet tall. They do sometimes talk about height. That's about as close as you will get to looks in this community.
231, checklist. And they just finished reading Why Men Love Bitches. So they're a little bit disagreeable too sometimes. So, right? Like I wouldn't put that much focus on chasing women, which is really, what I essentially, concluded at the end of my book, who conveniently, also Aaron Cleary, concluded at the end of his book, the book of numbers, the ROI on chasing women, is the ROI is on yourself. Don't worry about getting the girls. The girls will come when you're worthy of the girls, sort of thing. The next step for you is, okay, making 60 grand last year, got a 10% pay raise. Let's see if we can get that number up to six figures, 100 grand, right? I don't know. Is there a side hustle that you can, slap together? You don't have any kids that you're taking care of. You don't have a wife or an ex-wife or anything like that, right?
Right.
So it's getting on the grind. I mean, you're a good looking guy. You got some style. You got a decent haircut. The beard looks nice and clean and trim. The glasses.
He's at best just an average looking kind of whatever guy. If even that, I mean, why say good looking? What does he mean by good looking? Why lie to him? Just say, at best, you can just say, you're an average looking guy. Yeah.
Fine. You've got like the optics. Okay. But I've said this before, women have a lot of patience for a young Chad, like a 21-year-old Chad with a plan. They'll be all over him like a fat kid on cake. Lots of women will.
What does he mean by Chad? I think that these people mean something else by Chad. Because if you would be good looking and tall, then it would also work when you're 40. Not as good, but still it would.
True. Yeah,
okay. But if you're a 41, a 45-year-old Chad, and you don't have anything to show for yourself, but you might have a plan, they don't have a lot of patience for that guy, right? And you're somewhere between that 21-year-old and the 40-something-year-old.
What? What is he talking about? Is he saying that the guy is a Chad? I don't get it.
Only you probably want to get closer to 100 grand by this time.
Okay, and if he gets to 100 grand, then what? I don't get it.
Right.
Right. And I'm not saying that so you can get the girls. Like I'm saying that so that you, as a man, can be spoiled for choice. You can be the sexual selector. You can say, you know what, Rachel, I don't like you. I don't like your attitude. Don't let the door hit you on the way up. All right. Because Becky's coming over later on tonight and she doesn't give me that crap.
Yeah, right. Because he'll earn more money in a year 40K more. And then women will hear about it and say, wow, what? Hey, did you hear about the guy who looks completely average like any other guy? He now makes 40K more a year. What? 40K? Oh my God. No, I want to get to him first. No, come on, stop. I want him. Somebody else hears, what? 40K more? Everybody just rushes to him. What is this stupid fantasy?
You know what? What you said is 100% true. Because when I was in my 20s, I was able to pull that off.
Right.
Where, just as you said, they're willing to overlook, your height, your profession, or whatever, because I don't know why, but they're just willing to overlook it.
When you were 21, you were more attractive, you were younger, you were more youthful.
30s, it's like you gotta be pristine. So
men must become. You must, like, men are made. Okay, like, we have to make something out of ourselves. We can't rest on our laurels, because, hey, I like the guy earlier that was a teacher. Like, you heard him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if he was like a Chad teacher, he'd have women, no problem. But he's an overweight teacher, right? So
what does he mean? You become a Chad when you work out, yeah? That's what he's saying.
Like, have something going on here. Have as much going on as you possibly can. Looks, money, status, game, right? Like, those are the main things. If you're insignificant, become significant. If you're fat, lose the weight, build some muscle, broad shoulders, narrow waist. If you don't make enough money, make some bank, right? You don't have any game because you're awkward and you're anxious all the time, learn game, right? Practice it, make some cold approaches, buy a course, read on how that works.
Do these guys never wonder why it still doesn't work out once they do reach their 100K a year? I'm sure that some of them did. Maybe 200K or whatever. Maybe some of them became millionaires. Do they not realize that it's still not working out? What's gonna happen if you become a millionaire, for example, is that you buy some fancy house, you drive around with that fancy car, and some women who are into money, who don't care about you, may try to use you for it. Of course, yeah. And somehow, I guess because they really are in some deep denial, they delusionally believe that the women are into them. You have something external, but they believe that it's me that they want. Of course, it's as if you're in this room, you sit there with $1 million next to you, and a woman walks in, she looks at the money, she wants it, because we all live in the slave system, and we see this money as a power, opportunities, whatever it may be, and she knows that it belongs to you, not that you can really own anything naturally, but it's the way we see it. And then, of course, she would try to do anything to be together with you because she wants the pile of cash. That's what she is actually into. She doesn't give a shit about you whatsoever. But these guys somehow delusionally believe that because they are into something that's external from you, they actually want you. It makes zero sense. They want to believe that by being rich, they will actually have women who are into them, when that's impossible. If women are into something that's external from you, then they're literally, by every definition, not into you, because they're into that other thing. And then they can use you or do whatever with you to get this external thing. Usually it will end up in a divorce, and then they will take part of it, because that's what they cared about all along. Because if they would care about you, then it wouldn't matter what's external from you. It doesn't matter if you're poor or even homeless on the street. If you're good looking and tall, they're gonna do anything. They're gonna take you home, they're gonna work for you, they will do anything for you. But if they're into something else, your car, your house, whatever, then they will use you for that, but they don't care about you whatsoever. But the guys like this one on the right, I think that it's just too painful maybe for him to realize that, which is why he goes and works a lot, trying to get this promotion, thinking that that's what's gonna make them attracted to you, into you in some way. That's what they believe. It's absolutely nuts when you look at it from the outside. When you're in this matrix, you're caught up in it, living in this bubble, this absolute delusion, then it all makes sense. You just never talk about the looks of men, you only talk about the looks of women. And you just talk about money, status, humor, confidence. And that's it. And you just always ignore the elephant in the room. You always see it, you know the problem, but you just cannot admit that that's it. And some of these guys could even improve their looks somewhat. But seeing as they don't even talk about it, how could they? You can't improve something you don't even talk about. If you're unconscious of the problem, how can you improve the problem? You just go around it. You try to look for different answers. You try to fix anything except for the actual problem. The problem will never go away then. How could it possibly? You're just creating more and more problems by focusing on something that doesn't even matter. Thanks for watching.